Hi, this is Ross from the Academy of Medical English. In this video on the writing section of the OET exam, we will look at how to take the information contained in your case notes and put it into full sentences for the purpose of writing your letter. Now, of course, there are several different structures we can use for each function. For example, different ways of showing the cause and effect of certain actions, and we will look at some of these today. But that is not to say that all options are equally good. When thinking about how to phrase a certain piece of information, it is still important to assess your options based on efficiency, whilst also maintaining an appropriate register. In other words, we need to communicate the information clearly and simply, while still maintaining a formal writing style. This video, then, will take the form of a practice task in which we will try to think of some different ways to express the same piece of information. Here is an extract from one of the sample writing tasks available on the OET website. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think how you might express this information in your letter. Ready? Off you go. Okay, now there are several ways to express this information, so don't worry if your answer was different to this one. In reality, the best phrasing will be determined by the context. That said, here is one way you might put this information onto paper. In 2006, she was diagnosed with depression following a separation from her husband, for which she was prescribed fluoxetine. Note the parts I have added, showing the relationship between these pieces of information. One thing you will probably notice here is that I've used passive voice twice, in saying she was diagnosed and she was prescribed. Passive voice is extremely common in formal English and is a good way to keep the focus on the patient or treatment and not on yourself or any other doctor involved in their treatment. In other words, the important information is what she was prescribed, not necessarily who prescribed it. Now, as I said, there are a number of alternatives for each of these chunks of language we use to join together the information in the sentence. So let's take a look at some. I chose to say, she was diagnosed with depression. But can you think of any other ways to say this? I'll give you 15 seconds. Okay, so you could have gone for she was treated for, or if you don't want to use passive voice, you could say she began to suffer from. Of course, as I say, each of these options emphasizes a slightly different aspect of her depression. In this case, treatment, diagnosis, and experience. So it's up to you to choose which best expresses what you want to say. Also, note the dependent prepositions for each of these words: treated for, diagnosed with, and suffer from. Okay, next one. Can you think of any different ways to phrase this information? You have 15 seconds. So possible answers include as a result of or resulting from. All three of these options are good for when you want to mention an effect first before explaining the cause. In other words, this happened because of this. By the way, if you can think of any options which I haven't mentioned here, feel free to share your ideas in the comments and I'll let you know if they're correct. Okay then, last one. Your 15 seconds starts now. So, these are the alternatives I came up with. And notice how each one has a different focus, either on the doctor, the patient, or, in the case of the last example, on the depression itself. Okay, now finally, I would like to look at some different ways that we can order the information in a given note. So far, we have used the simplest option of following the order in which the information occurs in the note. But this isn't always the most helpful way to present it. I'm going to give you a different order for the 4 key pieces of information, and I'd like you to rearrange the sentence accordingly. As usual, there are several different ways of doing this, but here I will try to stick as close to my original sentence as possible. Ready? Your 30 seconds starts now. Here is my answer. Okay then, let's rearrange it one more time in this order. Your time starts now. And here is my answer. Okay, so that's all we've got time for today, but I hope I've given you a few different ideas as to how you can transform the information in your case notes into full sentences for your referral letter. If you found this video helpful and would like more advice from our OET experts, you can visit us at academyofmedicalenglish.com, or alternatively, email me directly using the address in the video description. Bye for now.
Did you know the AME now offers a writing feedback service to help you prepare for the OET? Head to academyofmedicalenglish.com to find out more.